Once upon a time, in a city where the river whispered secrets to the stones and the wind carried the echoes of forgotten voices, there was a storyteller. She was not a queen, nor a knight, nor a sorceress, but something in between. A weaver of words, a keeper of stories, and a seeker of the hidden magic within people's hearts. Her name was Zoe, and she had a dream. Look, that's her. She dreamed of a place where women, young and old, bold and quiet, certain and uncertain, could gather in a sacred circle of stories. A place where they could rediscover their inner heroines, transform their most tender experience into fairy tales, and see at last the power in their own voices. But how does one awaken the magic of stories? The storyteller knew she needed more than just words. She needed something deeper, something ancient. And so she turned to the triple goddess, a guide as old as time herself. The goddess appeared in 3 forms. The maiden, bright-eyed and full of curiosity, standing on the edge of new beginnings. The mother, wise and nurturing, carrying the weight of love and growth. The crone, calm, knowing, unafraid to release what must be let go. It was these 3 that would guide the women in their journey. Their whispers would shape the foundation of Maas Myths. And so, the storyteller set out to build a gathering, a series of workshops where women could step into these archetypes, move their bodies in new ways, write without fear, and most importantly, share without shame. Look, here's a picture of such an happening. All the people around the table together, sharing stories. She welcomed them with open arms, inviting them to leave behind the world of deadlines and distractions and step into a realm of imagination, movement, and deep conversation. At first, the women hesitated. Some thought, "But I'm not a writer." Others whispered, "My story is not important enough." Look, there are the women, sad and insecure in bed, doubting what stories they might have to share. But the storyteller only smiled. "All stories matter," she said, "even the ones we think are too small, too quiet, or too ordinary." And so, one by one, they began to speak. They told of childhood dreams and lost loves, of hidden fears and long-forgotten joys. They moved their bodies like rivers, let their voices dance like flames, and watched as the stories took shape, not just on the page, but in the air around them. Together, they wove fairy tales, not of princesses in towers, but of women who had laughed and cried, fought and forgiven, fallen and risen again. And look at all the people sharing in laughter and stories together. That could be you. But a story is not meant to stay locked away. Stories, like rivers, must flow. And so the storyteller knew that these tales must be carried beyond the walls of the workshops, out into the world, where others could find them. She and her companions crafted a book, a beautiful, handcrafted artifact, filled with the voices of those who dared to share their truth. They placed it in libraries, community spaces, and little corners of the city, so that anyone who stumbled upon it might find a piece of themselves within its pages. Yet the magic did not stop there. The storyteller wanted stories to live not just in books, but in the streets, in the air, in the unexpected moments of everyday life. So she became a modern-day troubadour, a bringer of tales. One morning, a woman walking through a market found a tiny scroll tucked between apples at a fruit stall, a single line from a fairy tale, waiting to be continued. Look, there's the bunch of apples that the woman found the story in between. Wow. One evening, a child sitting in a quiet park saw a group of women performing a tale in the glow of the streetlights. A moment of wonder woven into the ordinary. Little by little, the city itself became part of the story. But what, you may wonder, became of the storyteller? Ah well, her journey did not end there. For as long as there were voices waiting to be heard, as long as there were women who needed to remember their own strength, the work of Maas Myths would continue. She knew that stories do not belong to just one person. They belong to all of us. So she kept the circle open. For the next voice, for the next story, for the next women who would dare to whisper, maybe I too have a tale worth telling. And so, dear listener, the question to you is, what story might you tell?